This is Honey Raven Golgan. We've been gone for a while. I don't even know how long. Probably about a month. We just weren't in the mood to play, I guess. I don't really know what happened. But I know for me, this game is so fucking tedious. And it's just, even though it's a detective game and I like true crime, it's so dense. And I'm pretty sure that I said this the last time we streamed, because I'm always falling asleep. So, this time we have the light on. I'm hoping we can stream a bit longer today. If the light stays on, maybe I won't fall asleep. So, let's see what happens. What was that? Oh, okay. Why do we have to test the audio with him?
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
Yeah. You need to fuck off, you racist bastard.
It's about biological determinism, natural law, the sorting of the races. Not the most popular topic nowadays, with a coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep. I'm not just racist. Look, I've read books, huh? The science of racial theory has all been proved, even if some people don't want to accept it.
Just racist? Also, just because you've just read books that justifies his racism. Okay. So he's just read racist books. And what's a common sheep? I don't think, like, they bury their heads in the sand either. I don't know. I mean, ostriches do that, not sheep.
Used to sound like one blip to cut out on the echo.
Okay.
So let's see how this goes.
That was one blip? Didn't look like one blip.
Now let's see.
People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that.
Hey, why don't you give me the handheld thing, the controller?
Open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority, they stop competing for resources.
I think you're gonna have to put them outside. Yeah, especially for us. Hey.
Okay, Earl, come
on. You guys gotta get out. Get out. Go get food. So while during our hiatus, I finally got a decent chair to sit in while we're gaming. and it's a gamer chair. I don't even like. I'm not even like a true gamer. It's called, what is it? Emerge? I think so. It's black and white, and yeah, it's really comfortable. I'm glad I got it. So, it's more like my office chair, but now I finally get to use it for gaming. And I think it'll be a bit better for me because I won't feel so sleepy, and I'll be able to stay up and probably play the game more.
This concerns you, policeman, so you better be vigilant. The damn kips are showing up good lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other intruder species too. They're on the precipice of cultural victory.
Cultural victory? What is this then?
It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? No. Dominating culture is how they plan to win. They say so themselves. It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why you've got to control the offspring.
Uh-oh. Do you think we're gonna create a new sub-race?
Yeah, I think I ain't get down with racism. What do you want to say?
I would say 2.
Don't push your luck, Runt.
He was all enthusiastic, and then we shot him down.
So he was excited, but then you
Just told him to fuck off, like you should do with any racist.
Oh, yeah, I'm not ready for that.
I've never told a racist to fuck off, because I'm too polite. I just keep my mouth shut, which is probably not the best thing to do. So are you going to actually engage in them, or are you just going to repeat what you did the last time we streamed? What? I said, are you going to actually engage in the other characters, or are you just going to repeat what you've been doing for the last stream? Well, I know you spoke to that racist, and now you're going into that shop again.
What was in the shop?
The shop was full of knickknacks.
So you call her a knick-knack?
Yeah.
Don't you remember she was a teenager?
Yeah.
And then?
And then what?
Well, and then I talked to the guy. Do you remember the Mario-looking guy?
Yeah, he's up the stairs.
So should I talk to him first, or should I fight the boss?
Well, you don't know if he's the boss.
He has to be the boss, because he's the biggest guy there. Remember last time there was a different big guy? And now here's a new big guy?
Yeah, because that was at night. Why don't you talk to... He doesn't look like Mario to me. He looks like, Tommy Chong.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you, making your eyes sting. The odor mixes with cigarette residue. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels.
Oh,
What does that mean?
Jesus.
I don't know. What do you think that means?
What?
A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. It is the seal of Royalist era Revachol.
Support the
The
Royals.
back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the Lost City of the Pygmies.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
You see?
What, the guy right in front of you?
No, the guy. Remember the lorry driver that
Yeah.
we were talking to?
That's him?
Yeah, that's his thing. You think this lorry belongs to
Oh.
our tough guy?
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
What is a lorry?
I thought you should know it's British. Lorry driver.
I don't know what a lorry driver is. Does that mean like a truck?
Yeah, that's a lorry.
Well, let me look it up. Give me my phone.
Ask her. See, what is a lorry?
Alexa, what's a lorry?
Scab?
You're
Alexa,
hazy in the
stop.
notion of a scab. Smells like politics,
Alexa,
though.
stop.
Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
What do you want to say?
What exactly is a scab?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Hold on, where did it all come from?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
See, does that keep collect scabs? Remember when Stater Brothers was on strike?
No.
I remember, but that's what everyone was talking about.
When?
Well, some years ago, Stater Brothers was on strike.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
I'm not a scab, I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
King of the North!
Wait, what? Hager the man and Boots at the gate who said we know about the armor?
I would say that.
He just wants to get this good short.
Well then, let's go with 4.
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
You know, the union bosses, right? And at the restaurant? Remember that group who's at the eating and making noise? got hollow setting. I think we're gonna need the AC on.
Oh, good, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Evra? Suspicious activity. How very troublesome. Yet take a look around. Strikers, protests, scabs. Isn't it also very suspicious? I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself. I walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Measurehead, I think I met him.
Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini supremacist up there. Walk right past him.
I'm waiting for you.
Then press the button to unlock the door.
You heard the Semini supremacist is there? It's Measurehead. And see, I just walk right through.
Then go past him again. And you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
You know what's going on? Yeah, and he said to go buy Measurehead, and what did he call them?
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
Did you do one yet? Yeah, then
The little boy had it good on his promise. To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice of words, not mine.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official Union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it.
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, and the cop's in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes. It's a minor nuisance. It's all good.
yeah.
I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk Union man about some armor.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part. I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off.
How does it come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia. I guess you won't be collecting them all then. That's less work for you at least.
What about leggings? I'm going to find one piece of it.
Yo,
What are you talking about? What are you singing? Say what?
What did you just say?
I'm gonna find one piece of it?
Yeah,
One is enough?
You know what that is?
Oh, are you singing the rap?
Yeah, it's the One Piece rap.
I didn't catch it.
Someone says One Piece, like, oh yeah, that's One Piece, I wouldn't have to sing the rap.
Oh, please don't look up the rap.
No, I'm not gonna look at the rap. One Piece.
Should we let him in? No, I told you not to look that up.
No, that's not. So,
I told you not to look it up.
Who's singing it?
Sea Dog VA.
Who's that?
Connor.
Yeah, don't you know that anyone ever says One Piece? Johnny really break into the One Piece rap?
Why are you scratching? You need to stop.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What? What the hell? Why'd they do that?
They ripped off one of the. She ripped off a foot.
Zoe, why'd you rip off the foot?
Zoe, why'd you rip off the foot? Probably not.
Back up some. And then let this go in case they try to move it off.
Nice and balanced. Some junior officers can take care of the rest.
Smart choice. It's only that one spot you need armored too. The one the bullet hits. Good luck if you go for those boots though. You'd have an easier time wresting the spurs off a boyadero than getting them off him.
Boyadero. I thought we already had them. Yeah, but weren't the boots on the body? You didn't take them off.
I did some research into this armadura.
How does it?
In parts. So, as I count, there are two parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
Yeah, but where's the cuirass? And the gauntlets?
Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did. Yes, you said as much. I did some research.
How does it?
In part. So, as I count, there are two parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle.
I agree, officer. Let's focus on the hanging, and later some junior officers can take care of the rest.
Alexa, turn off stand. Okay. Maybe if the light's off, they'll calm down.
Nice. From what I learned, it was a very heavy, boring set of armor. I learned that people don't want...
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff, mostly. That was the interesting part. No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way.
He is sincerely grateful he is not tracking down pieces of armor right now.
Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You guys have all sorts of gadgets these days. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery. Maybe you could even knock that Kowalson crane over using some remote controls. Or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
We're calling in technical. You guys have air support, right? Wait, we have air support? Why didn't you tell me? I'm pretty sure we don't, at least not. Oh.
Because we don't. We don't have air support or any of those other things.
Oh.
I get it. Hush hush about the secret technology. All right, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RCM. It's low in technology, however. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it. You're welcome.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
You haven't done that. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
That's high. Do that.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Appreciate it.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to... You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though.
See how that got you far? The Union has problems getting by?
Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though.
Every little bit helps, you know?
I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs.
Scabs. You really just want one piece of armor, it's enough. Find and locate one piece and this one's done.
So I have to spend the cuirass, or I have to spend gauntlets, or I just take the boots.
In order to succeed, 1, the body has to be down. 2, autopsy has to be finished. 3, and Kim has to be absent. He wouldn't approve. This will be devilishly tricky, so don't beat yourself up if you manage to send the body to the processing without getting hold of the boots.
The body's already been processed.
Get boots off the victim.
That's already done. Remember you did it the very first day? So here we go.
Zoe was a good girl today.
So I'm gonna be able to do that. I get that in armor, but I'm not gonna get the boots. Remember he took the body and put the process.
Well, like, I don't even know where to get the boots, you know? You'd have to go to the place with the... The morgue. Hangman's armor seems to be missing. Find out what happened to it. The kid throwing rocks at the corpse seems to be a good place to start asking about the body first. So Kuno lied to you. Return and confront him.
You'll see it. It's like, that's your real right now.
Or you can try to get inside. Go upstairs. Maybe that's up there. Yeah. That guy wasn't Oriental. He looked white. What? What's the difference? What's going on? Why can't you get down? Are you stuck? Or are you just not proceeding? It won't let you go down? There you go.
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again? It's about not the most popular topic nowadays, with the coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. I'm not just racist. Look, people who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, lately we Occidentals have experienced... This concerns you?
Cultural victory? What is this then?
It's true. Also, you need to realize that Go right ahead.
Lieutenant Kitsurage's stern expression remains unchanged, but you sense something there, below. Not a lot of moral fiber on this one yet, he thinks, wriggled out of it.
So what are you gonna do now? I thought he was talking about Measurehead. You can't go up to Measurehead? Yes. You don't think it'd be different now that they... No, I didn't forget it, but you don't think it'd be different? Now that it's daytime?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital. Something your race, nihilistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Of course you are, Revacholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world order is the core of your race fate. All around you, the fruits of its defeat. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted disease. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate
Alexa, turn
youth
on
culture?
stand.
Rock and roll music?
Alexa, turn on stand.
It's true, I am a rock and roll star and I love it.
Yeah.
Rock and roll is moribund. Only Koikos listen to it anymore. There is no life left in it. My people abandoned it long ago. It leads only to neurodegenerative herpes and heroin overdoses. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race. The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know.
So you were born and raised on an island before you moved to Revachol?
I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
Yeah.
No. I have heard about it on the radio.
Nah.
That's where it's racist and it's here.
Yeah.
I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. The city is central to the Simony strategy. Spreading through its trade networks, our culture will dominate the world. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with, and never getting into the harbor.
Never getting into the harbor. Ooh, that's high.
You want to try this?
Yeah.
Try.
I don't know. What's conceptualization do?
Read it. What does it do?
It says, I don't even know. It says subscribe to its advanced race theory.
Yeah, only are racist or accept.
Oh,
Or number two, what's it say?
knock them out.
So what should I try?
That one.
You see what it says plus one? What's it say?
+1 Manat
Mañana.
Hannah's hint.
Mañana said that I have to agree with them.
Yeah, and grovel.
So you want to grovel to the feminine races?
Yeah.
Or do you want to grovel and beg to the Occident races? Which races do you want me to go with?
This one?
This one?
Yeah.
You want me to become this kind of racist? You don't want me to just go for it and knock them out?
With 8%, you're not gonna get that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh.
We still need to get into the harbor. There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
He says there must be another way. Hey! Hey! I don't know. Stop it. What?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one.
They keep getting better and better.
That will be the...
Oh, that will be the what? That will be our lovely races. How do you know there will be a next races? How's the previous races better, actually? I know there will be a next races.
There always is.
Oh, he got you. Well,
Race is reality.
showing them up.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
He had nothing to do with it.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
I would agree with that.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the fritter nearby.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features.
What?
This should dispel any doubt.
Phrenology?
Yeah, what? You said you liked this guy. This is the guy you
I didn't
wanted.
say I liked him.
I said you prefer this racist over the other one? And you said what?
I said
No,
yes.
phrenology is right.
Phrenology's bullshit.
Explain, what is it?
It's a pseudoscience
About what?
about the size of people's skulls and the bumps on their heads.
Right?
Were
Django Unchained?
yes.
Remember when they were talking about it?
Leonardo DiCaprio was obsessed with phrenology.
Yeah. You're right, that's cranial different from my race does not stand a chance. Sure, I'm not
Do two. See what happens.
Correct.
Do the conceptualization.
This is gonna make me a racist.
What? You can't just lie. Pretend to be racist. You're trying to be some kind of superstar. What? Where? People think communism was some crazy idea that had its comeuppance 40 years ago. A fever that shook the world never to return again. They were right until he woke up today, a spiritual corpse responsive only to the call of Commodore Red, prostitutes, and Krasmazov. For him, communism is still a thing. He will single-handedly raise the commune of O2 from oceanic trench where it has been resting, covered in ghosts and seaweed. He is the big communism builder. Come witness his attempt to rebuild communism in the year 51. Huh? First, if you have a side bitch ideology cooking somewhere, don't sweat it. Fighting indirect taxation for the gossamer state is compatible with all creeds. It's cool like that. You're a cool anarchist now. Unless you don't want to be an anarchist. Whatever. Stuff is a meal ticket in your eye socket, and let's see if we can steal some love back from the robber barons at the customs agency and the banditos at the Insulindian Financial Oversight and Competition Committee. I don't even know what that said. I don't know where to put it. That's what I'm asking. Is it on the table?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand, and he's squeezing it. It hurts.
I told you not to do that.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it. I am a degenerate alcoholic.
Oh, now you got it.
The crackle of bones. Inside, you can hear it. Your fist cracks in his hand like a ripe apple. Pain shoots up into your brain as he's twisting it more and more.
The words to the song have changed. Say, I am a violent drunk.
Your hand twists in his grip and the pain blinds you. Still you press the words out of your swollen mouth.
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your homoerotic organization any further.
And what you got up your sleeve?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians, because that won't get us anywhere. I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that Hulk.
But I was fighting bad unsavory ideologies and hero.
We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation any more volatile than it already is. And you're just going to let him manipulate you like that? We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation any more volatile than it already is.
Yes, Daddy.
The lieutenant groans, but doesn't say anything. That's right. You should do it again. It's the last thing he'll be expecting. What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
I see.
Incrementally.
Little by little.
History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment. Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What sang-froid?
Sang-froid? Freud? Wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
But if it's the status quo, that means nothing changes and everything's the same no matter what. I did read what he's saying. Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? I mean, it's a strike. Do you really think there's going to be bloodshed? I thought strikes are supposed to be civil.
Talking about change.
Ouch! You elbowed me.
Sorry, read it.
I did read it. I'm not understanding.
Talking about the strike.
He's just talking about change of what? This is where it gets too deep for me and I'm not understanding. So can you break it down for me like I'm 5?
History creates catastrophes that are brought about by people trying to make the world a better place to live. Progress is meaningless if the beings are lost in stability. Real massive change happens coming back rapidly. You can't do anything. So what about all the things going now? Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you can't feel for the future.
No.
Then you've never lived through real chaos.
You know what it's like to live through real chaos?
I guess not.
Sometimes, in the face of great disaster, defending the status quo is progress. The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
This is like way over my head. Yeah.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Alright, let's get there eventually.
Eventually.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
A long time. We'll do it next time. Oh. Uh-huh.
Well, I just want to get rid of the filibuster just to guarantee people the right to vote. While we run, electing not voting for everyone, we can limit our health care. That's too scary. What about all the private insurance positions? What about the minimum wage? You want to rise it up? Yeah, but if you do that, what about all the jobs you're going to lost? With all the businesses are going to start firing because they're out of money.
If they can't pay their workers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
No, it's increased. 17%? Elysium says do it again.
Go ahead. Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
Do not be naive. I know the answer to the great race enigma. Why would I share it with a deformed infant? You do not have the devotion for servitude. Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
It has happened again. The Titan has your fist locked in his hand, and he's twisting it.
What? What? Kitsuragi? He's getting ready to shoot? I don't know.
Another fit of criminal rage. Who are you, in your own words?
The crackle of bones. Inside, you can hear it. Your fist cracks in his hand like a ripe apple. Pain shoots up into your brain as he's twisting it more and more.
The words to the song have changed. Say.
Alexa, stop alarm.
Your hand twists in his grip and the...
Good. Now go before you enter cardiac arrest.
Please, stop doing this. You are making us look bad.
You heard him.
Yes?
No, he didn't say anything more. It didn't go as planned. Yeah. It didn't go well.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have...
I think this racist is better than the last.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. A protruding occiput and an indented zygomatic bone.
The lieutenant does not flinch.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind.
What? I don't even. The congenital defects of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid? Yeah. Well, I don't have farsightedness. I have
He
nearsightedness.
does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
He had nothing to do with it.
Okay, let's...
Racists are...
Welcome to Revachol.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble. You exhibit forward projection of the jaw. indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes you look like a baby. This is not coniometry, just an observation. It is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al-Ghul. From what remain of your features, I can see fleshy lips, baldness of the head, and long arms relative to lower limbs. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal, an offspring of murderers and sailors from Sur-la-Clé and Vesper, and possibly even the degenerate sheep herders of Ubi.
Interesting. So one of my ancestors was Sherlock Clef and the other Vesper.
Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Rivasholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision to reproduce while under the influence of Al-Ghul. That is the only reason you are here.
Oh. I guess I did. He talked to... For some reason I thought Al Ghul was like a deity.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Can you move on? Kunoese? You mean Kuno?
Bastards! We have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
Why were you yelling?
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to work! Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed their families.
His manner of speaking is wooden. The tone of voice bland and uninspired. Almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the...
Right to work! Right to work!
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
So do we, Scott.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Why you want to meet that fat asshole?
So see, when your head works for the boss, the Mexican guy works for the human boss. In this gap, and they want to get to go through the strike. They want to rework the strike.
Right.
I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him. Interesting.
Why so tense?
What are you talking about? I'm not tense.
Yes, he's tense.
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
That really isn't my area of expertise.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If Union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow
What are
because
you
I'm big
doing?
and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were
Given a job to do!
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Is he undercover?
Worked at Territorio. Ring a bell?
We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Excuse me, I had further inquiries.
Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time?
We'll see.
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we
Have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
No. Yeah, is he hiding something? Yeah, it's too small. Yeah. Didn't I say that? I said, do you think he's a cop? You mean Kitsuragi? Where are you from? I'm from Jamrock. He's from where? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Strikers are striking against the owner. Scrap workers want to break the strikes so it gets work. Who would benefit from the strike being broken up?
The company.
I think he's higher on the total from the company working on breaking the strike. Imagine when people strike, they want better wages and better stuff. So look, read it.
Ill-fitting, what does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clerk silences the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
And you're unable to boost the entrance?
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny meskpunk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Yeah? That giant up there, on the bridge you talked to. Head measurer. Won't let the workers by. The access panel is right behind him.
Yeah. How bad could one guy be? You seem capable.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there, but that one's no joke, and my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Have you considered storming in like all of you?
Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal shit. They have that look.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
You don't have any tips on how to punch a guy out, do you? Say a really big race theorist guarding a button.
Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn by failure, I always say.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first. Return if you fail.
Well, you did. You did try to fight him.
Yeah, I checked the number that she was going to and fight it. And we found out that it was him. And if I try to fight him, I was going to lose. You know, special move to take out my girl. I may have died. I don't have any points into that.
To learn moves?
Deflection?
Yeah.
I like points on what?
What?
Shooting.
Oh.
Remember all the points they spent to shoot that weight?
Mm-hmm.
And then I added it to like, see all of it.
See here, school for fine detail detectives, sensationalists, urban scavengers. Perception wants you to be open to the world with eyes, ears, and nose working at full capacity. It enables you to take in what others don't notice. The little water bills hid away in the sugar bowl, the odor of a perp hiding beneath the floorboards, the gulp of a suspect after claiming they've nothing to hide. Loves interactions between you and things that can fly in the air. It enables you. Oh, cool for tricks, shooters, snipers, and jugglers. Yeah.
What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
The man has turned his attention elsewhere. He shakes his fist slowly while observing you from the corner of his...
What's it to you?
Big mess, caused by Union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
Ah.
He's not like we said he is. He's close to the thing. So which one of these do I break up?
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to...
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us.
Why not? I see numerous reasons not to pick a side in this local matter.
Pity.
Let us work!
I
Yes?
don't think he has ideas. He just is like, no. Yeah, I guess I can go. Wait, sorry, I'm starting to fall asleep again. Yeah, because I started to say stuff that
Right to work! Right...
What's it to you? No. Don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lift. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you? No. Don't think we've met before. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
We're done here. I have a strike to break.
I think I'm gonna need a donut to sit on.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You guys have all sorts of gadgets, these wiretapping, or calling in tactical air support. You guys... I get it. Alright, I may have some... First, don't fight him. Obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it. You're welcome.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
I'm starting to.
Okay, well, let me try this.
Well, then go to Kuno.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Okay. Mr. Head, I am new to this world. Help me understand its races. I need to know what kind of different races are there.
Do you?
He feels betrayed. Yeah.
You are obviously a liberal, Sailorlight. a polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. Do not deny your friend the truth you have denied yourself. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding.
What? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm fading.
A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. You know them by the names of their nation-states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the Königsteiners. My people simply call them Maun.
Mahun is a derogative term for First World people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru and the Uhu, are much more lactose intolerant. In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parades. Green, orange, and even yellow tassels have also been seen on hats.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassel-centric culture. Inbreeding has led to a lactose-intolerant subrace whom no one can take seriously.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century. You might want to avoid wooden clogs too.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have type A race propensities. The other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem.
Too yellow?
Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food, which in turn only produces more sebum.
I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep again. And who are the Seminese and the Aeropagites in hand? Overproduction of sebum, not serum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to L. It's supposed to be El Rios. Rio. Wait. Oh, sorry. El Mariachi music and eat toxic mincemeat based food, which in turn only produces more sebum. I don't know. No.
As proven by the mound and the mask, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminese and the Areopagite are on the ascent. The indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Seminese inhabit the southern islands. I am Seminese, from the stock of Ulmuir on Ile de Fantôme. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ile Maran deserts. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ile Maran to Ansuland. Thousands of years before the lactose-intolerant Marmoreten Occidentals discovered this place.
Wait, didn't Ile Maran desert pygmies invent alcohol and get pillaged just a short while ago?
No, those were scimitar-wielding race losers of Zahrava, Izet, and Bashir, with their Himmi servants. Big difference. The Areopagites were fasting and conquering while this happened. You never penetrated the western dunes.
Jean, baby, you're on fire.
I know, babe. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite, or Simeopagite superrace. That is all. There are no more Type A races in the world.
Nature was not capable of more.
Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the great race. The Koikos and the Vacholier, they are mud-colored people.
The Koikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
Yes, to an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct color, and so is their skin. Unhealthy, muddy, and ashen. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking Al-Rul and smoking the degenerate tobacco herb, and for eating potato.
Huh? I'm sorry, I've been trying to stay awake. Pinkness is radical quality. That's what it says. Pinkness is a radical quality. Racial. See, I'm tired. That has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination. That the grand total, or grad, people have undergone for drinking alcohol. In addition, the network keeps declining.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Undergone for drinking?
Oh, undergone for drinking alcohol and smoking the degenerate tobacco, herb aid, and eating potato.
The Khoikhoi, the countless micronationalities au grade, are all inexplicably obsessed with potard. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates, like political amoeba.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semeno-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary crust, uninterrupted. From Holy Semenine to the Boreal Plateau of Katla. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Semenese and Areopagite stock, elected by nature, not the base inert spoilage called demos. Revacholians, halfway between Type A and Racial Cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000-year history on this planet.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zara's ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoikhoi to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Probably through trade roots and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of Tibet mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me. Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Semenese man. Only possible if the mother is masked and the father Semenese. The other way around, they fail to produce offspring. The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension, listening to aggressive El Mariachi music to vent their impotent despair. Then there is the Semino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Semino Koiki Chimera? It is not an aesthetic site. The Khoikhoi, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have toyed with the idea of crossing the Semenese with the Khoikhoi to produce a super worker of Semenese strength and Grad servility. This will never happen. The Semenese and the Khoikhoi may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Semenese man could maintain an erection in the suffocating potato stench of a Khoikhoi woman, or Khoika. But enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type CF. Were there any able-bodied races you needed education on? You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vasholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease? There is nothing funky about them. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, Type B, and the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need? I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Type.
Yes?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Okay. 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 Yeah. You're gonna do that all right now? Okay. Are you being sleepy? I don't know, man, this game. It's too deep every time, even with the lights on, I'm falling asleep. Yeah, it's just going in one ear and out the other, man. Yeah. Huh? No. How do you get up there? Okay. not even that late. It's 9:49. Sorry, everyone. I tried. It just makes me sleep. And I don't have a big brain. Yeah. I didn't hear any of that. Okay. Bye.